All right, hello everybody. Happy Friday, happy spring. It's finally starting to warm up and feel more like spring. This weekend should be really nice. I'm looking forward to that. In honor of that, tonight we're going to be playing a little bit with our eagle pose, Garandasana. So all you need tonight is a block or a sturdy book that you can use in place of a block if you don't have one. And we'll start in an easy seat. So Sukhasana, legs just gently crossed in front. Make sure you're nice and grounded on both sit bones. Sometimes it helps to move and wiggle a little bit for the first few moments and kind of get yourself settled in. And then when you do feel settled in, allow your eyes to close. Maybe rest your hands on your lap. And start to just let your awareness expand a little bit. So notice whatever you notice, maybe the sounds in your household. Maybe noticing the feeling of the body right now. So if there's any tightness or tension. And start to allow that awareness to go inward a little bit more. So really start to focus on what's going on with you right now. And so that maybe we'll start with the breath. Maybe just noticing the breath. Allow yourself to soften and just become very still, very quiet here on the mat. The mind will always wander. We'll always notice the sounds around us. But when we're coming to stillness, when we're coming to mindfulness, it's about bringing yourself back to this moment, back to presence, back to a focused awareness. And so when you notice your mind wandering, just bring it back gently with kindness. Allowing the breath to deepen. Allow your eyes to remain closed and stay in your easy seat. But the next time you breathe in, sweep the arms out and up. So just keep reaching those arms out and up, feeling yourself lengthen from the sides of your waist. Really ground down and get heavy through the sit bones, through the legs, but lift a little bit through the chest, through the crown, through the fingertips. A couple breaths here in this lengthening pose. Again, eyes closed, face stays soft. So the next time you exhale, let your hands just float down in front of you. Wherever they fall, they fall. Go ahead and open your eyes and just notice your hands on the earth, on the floor, on the carpet, wherever you are. Take another breath in right here. And then as you exhale, walk your hands a few paces forward. So you may already start to feel a nice stretch in the outer hips. If not, keep walking yourself forward until you find a little bit of a stretch. Try to keep the sit bones grounded if you can, not floating the sit bones off the mat behind you. And when you feel pretty settled in the right spot, maybe go ahead and bow your head. With your next breath in, start to make your way back up. Walk the hands back towards your legs, and then again, inhale, we'll sweep the arms up. Close your eyes for a moment here. And just notice the difference. So notice how when you settle in to your sit bones, get really grounded and heavy there, you can still feel light and lifted through the upper half of your body. So keeping yourself lifted here, we're going to lean back a little bit and then just switch legs. So whatever leg was behind you before, bring that leg in front and then come back to lifting. Wait for your exhale and just float those hands to the earth. Go ahead and open your eyes, look at your hands on the earth. Take a breath in and then exhale once again, walk yourself down. Maybe just a few paces to start with, feel it out. Notice if this side feels different than the other side. And then if you want to deepen a little bit, walk yourself down a little more, and then eventually softening into a bow in your head. And as you inhale, go ahead and walk yourself back up. Nice and straight through the spine. We'll extend the left leg straight forward. And then we're going to bring that right leg with the bent knee to cross over the left leg. So plant that foot to start with, right to the outside of your left thigh. Those toes are somewhat pointing forward. That grounded left leg is nice and active, so kind of splay the toes out a little bit, push the heel forward. Let's give a little hug into that knee with both hands or both arms, just nice and gentle. And then against that, feel a little bit of a lift to the spine, heart opens. We're going to make this into a twist. So the right hand will drop behind you, and you can either hug that right knee more with your left arm, or you can hook the left elbow to the outside of that right knee. You choose. Either way, we're twisting to our right, taking a little peek over the right shoulder. And then as you inhale, come back to center. We're going to take that right leg any amount more over the left leg. And this time we're going to come to the pinky toe edge of the right foot. Start to move towards stacking your knees. They may not quite be there, so that right knee may still float a little bit, and it may even be a little off center from your left knee, and that's totally fine. Just hold for a moment here. A little deeper stretch in that right hip. And you can either stay if this already feels like a really good stretch for that right hip, or you can bow a little bit. Feel yourself hinge at your hips. Feel your heart draw towards those left toes. And maybe even if it feels okay, you can reach for that left foot with your hands. It can totally be a rounding of your spine, maybe a bowing of the head. Then come on back to center. We'll switch legs. So that right leg's going to extend long and the left leg will cross on top with the foot planted to start. Just right to the outside of that right thigh. Right foot is active, right leg is strong. We'll just hold here for a moment, both hands around that left knee, sort of using it to lift us up a little taller. And then we'll take this into that twist. So the left hand will drop behind. You can either hug that knee as you or you can hook your elbow, whichever feels better. Stay really strong through that right leg. Try not to let the toes get soft or flop. Little peek over your left shoulder. And then inhale back to center. And again, we'll take that left knee and just any amount more, cross it over. We'll come to the pinky toe edge of our left foot now. That leg is now starting to become a little bit more active. And so the knees may stack and that left knee may sort of fall on top of that right knee, or you may not quite be there. Either way is fine. Sit up nice and tall to start. And again, you may already feel like this is a good stretch. This is where you want to go, so you can stay, or maybe you start to bow. Hinge. Maybe you start to reach for your foot. And bow a little more. And with an inhale, come back to center. We'll uncross those legs, both legs long, just wiggle them out a little bit. Plant those hands behind you, a couple inches behind your hips, and then turn those fingers to face forward. And then we'll bend the knees, plant the feet at hip distance, give a little squeeze to the inner thighs, and then we'll just push up. little reverse table here. So it doesn't have to be super high. Give a squeeze to the inner thighs, and then just a tilt back with the head a little bit. So not letting the head drop back. You can kind of look down towards your knees, but keep the back of the neck long. If you can, maybe shift forward a little bit, like you're pushing your knees towards your toes. You might feel a good stretch through the shoulders. And then maybe push back a little bit. And then maybe one more time, push forward. And then push back. And then we'll drop sit bones. Walk our feet forward, but keep the knees bent. Keep our hands propped behind us. We're going to cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh. So taking our little figure 4 here. You may want to walk your left foot back in towards your sit bones. Flex that right foot. Spread the toes. Feel free to rock a little bit here. And a lot more, maybe sit taller. Feel your heart draw towards that right shin. And then we'll uncross. And we'll take the other side. And adjust as you need to. So each side, each hip is a little different. So I'm a little tighter on this side. So I'm going to keep that right foot a little bit more forward, a little bit more away from my right sit bone. But if you want to go deeper, walk that right foot back in towards you. Again, feel free to wiggle. Sometimes when you're working into the hips, it's hard to be stagnant. It's easier to be, a little bit dynamic, moving. And again, any amount, sit taller, open your heart, push your shoulders back. And then we'll release. Nice, easy, just cross over the legs, finding your way to hands and knees. All right, so from hands and knees, we're going to bring those knees right under the hips. Toes are curled under. I'll give a little pull into the low belly, and then we'll extend the right leg long behind us. So float the right leg, flex the right ankle, splay the toes out, and then left arm is going to float. Parallel to the mat, fingers spread. Hug that left shoulder down and in towards your spine. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more big breath in, and then as you exhale, we're going to hug elbow to knee and hold. Arch the spine a little bit. Feel how you're a little off balance, but hug everything into the midline. Take a breath or two here. And then as you inhale, again, extend straight out. That left hand's going to drop to the earth. Keep that right foot floating. But we're going to cross the right leg over behind us to the outside of our mat on the left. Take a peek back at that right foot. Good. Keep that leg, but come back to looking at your hands. We're going to kick our left foot towards the right side of our mat a little bit, and then tuck the right knee behind the left knee. Okay? Any amount, walk your feet away from one another. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, just a few inches, press your sit bones back between your heels. So we're not coming all the way back to sit. We're just going to get that nice big stretch. So give a little push into the hands. Keep your knees on the mat. Keep your toes on the mat. And then shift forward. We'll go ahead and uncross. So we're going to take this into right into our thread the needle. So I'm going to face you guys for this one. We'll start on the right side. So inhale, right arm's going to float. And then exhale, thread the right arm underneath. Drop your right temple to the mat. Pin your left hip back a little bit. And then sweep the left arm up. Just straight up to the sky. You can keep reaching those left fingertips up. Or you can take that hand and reach it behind you towards your right hip. Go ahead, release that left hand to the earth. Use it to press yourself up, unwind your right arm. And then back to center, back to hands and knees. And then inhale, we'll extend that left leg straight back and floating. Lots of strength to that floating leg. Feel the low belly pull up and in. And then when you're ready, when you're balanced, right arm comes forward. Keep a lifting through those legs, but feel those big bones, so your upper arm bone and your left thigh bone hugging into the midline, drawing down and in, or up and in. And then big breath in, exhale, elbow to knee. Round the spine, hug in, push into that left hand. Take a breath or two here. Instead of coming right out of it with the breath, stay. Feel the kind of just wobbliness of this pose and just try to stay with it. With an inhale, extend back out. And then drop that right hand to the mat. We'll cross the left foot over to the outside of our the right side of our mat. Take a peek back at your foot. Go ahead and take your gaze back to your hands. Let your right toes creep over to the left side of your mat a little bit and then tuck that left knee behind your right knee. Walk the feet away. Breath in. Exhale, push back. Again, our knees stay on the mat. Our toes are kind of walking away from one another, but stay on the mat. Just pressing into this big hip glute stretch. And when you're ready, let the weight shift forward. Extend that left leg, and then release the left knee. We're going to come into thread the needle on the left side. So as you inhale, left arm floats wide, and then send it under. Drop the left temple to the mat, pin the right hip back a little bit, peel the right shoulder open, float the right arm. And stay just like this. Or let that right hand come around your back towards your left hip. With an exhale, release that right hand to support you. Float the left arm wide, and then release. So when you're ready, we're going to come back into our downward facing dog. Take your time getting there. And once you do get there, go ahead and pedal the feet out a couple times. Take just a few breaths to feel out your dog. When you're ready, we're going to float the right leg high. We're going to bend the right knee, stack the right hip on the left hip, really open it up on that right side. As much as you can, we're kicking that right foot towards our left shoulder. You can point the toes or flex the foot, whichever works. And we'll use a little momentum and sweep that right leg all the way through into a lunge. We're going to drop this into a low lunge, so let your left knee come to the mat. Wiggle it back just a little bit and stay. Maybe grab your block or your book if you want a little extra lift. Finding fingertips, opening your heart. And then settle those hands back to the mat. Lift off your back knee. Sweep that right leg all the way back and through. Shimmy, shake it out. And again, we'll bend, twist, and open. Same side, same leg, I know. Stay with me. Bend, twist, and open. Plant those hands, press your hips back, anchor your left heel to the mat. And then again, a little momentum, sweep that same leg, that right leg through again. Drop your back knee. This time, wiggle your back knee back a little further if you can. Heel toe your right foot, one footprint wider. And then shift your right hand to the inside of your right leg. Turn your right toes out a little bit, and then start to peel to the pinky toe edge of that foot. So again, a little wiggling when we're coming into our hip stuff. Sometimes that feels nice. Settle into it as your right knee kind of floats open. Let your left hip soften to the mat. You can stay up high on your hands like I am. Or you can start to bend the elbows and drop your forearms to the mat. Or you can even reach for that block. If Drop your forearms to your block or book. Easy breaths here. See if you can find a spot where you can settle for a breath or two without moving. When you're ready, make your way back to your hands. So before we step back, it's nice to kind of find our strength again. We are softening so much into that pose. Come back to strength. So I start with my hands, plant my hands, engage my arms, pull my low belly in. I should feel my hips start to sort of scissor in towards one another. Float off that back knee. And one more time, we're going to float that right leg. Shimmy, shake it out. Bend, twist, and open. Good. This time, if you want to do some knee circles, hip circles, go for it. If not, that's fine too. And then we'll release to downward facing dog. So pedal it out a couple times. And then we're going to anchor the hands, float that left leg straight up. Bend, twist, and open on the left side. So again, you can flex the left foot, point the toes, but we're reaching that foot towards the opposite shoulder. As we try to still press our hips back, send our knee high. And then we're going to step that left foot all the way through. Use a little momentum. Drop the back knee. So we know now this is our one of two, right, on this left side. So if you want to wiggle back, wiggle back. If you want to start a little kinder and then take the next one a little deeper, that's fine too. Soften into that right hip. Definitely staying lifted for this one though. So either coming up to fingertips or reaching for that block. Heart is open. And then we'll let the hands find the mat. Come off that back knee. We're going to take that left foot straight up and back, right into bend, twist, and open. Any amount deeper than the second time around. And then use that momentum, step through again. Back knee drops. This time maybe wiggle it back a little more. Heel toe your left foot a bit wider and turn the toes out. And then peel to the pinky toe edge of that left foot. Settle, settle. If you want to wiggle for a few breaths, wiggle. Start to drop the weight down a little bit. Maybe stay up on your hands but bow the head. Or maybe drop to forearms or forearms to block. So bow the head and close the eyes and just take this opportunity to be still, even if that means being still in a little bit of discomfort. And then with your next few breaths, we'll transition back to that three-legged dog one more time. Get really strong through the hands, then the arms, then the belly. Back leg, left leg floats and lifts and bends and reaches back. And again, maybe some big circles with that left leg. And then downward facing dog. Pedal it out once or twice. And then bend the knees a lot. And walk yourself forward into your forward fold. So a couple breaths here in forward fold. Let the knees be bent. Let the shoulders roll. Let the head drop. No holding in the neck. No holding in the jaw. So reach for that block or that book so you have it handy. Just place it in front of both feet at its highest height to start with. And then when you're ready, rise to stand. Reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hands move through your heart. Little bend to the knees, take it back into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, take your hands to your block. Let the weight shift a little bit to your left foot and kick that right leg straight back behind. So keep the heart lifted to start with. Utilize your block. Left hip's going to pull back in space if you can. Good. Then we'll bend that left knee a little bit. We'll take that block or that book to a lower level, a lower height. And then we'll plant that right foot behind our left foot. So now we're pinky toe edge to pinky toe edge of both feet. So bend that front knee a little deeper and try to pin your right hip back. Good, so as you do that, keep your left hand on your block, but take your right hand to your hip and try to open your heart to the right side. Peel the right shoulder back a little bit. Hold here. Maybe float the right arm up. When you're ready, exhale, release. Bring both hands to the block. Little bend to your knees, and then extend that right leg straight back. Release your right foot to the earth. Forward fold. And so pedal the feet out a couple times. Turn that block back to its highest height, so it's there ready for you. And with your inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, right back in, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to block. Draw your heart forward. Pull the low belly up and in. Shift your weight to your right foot. Float your left leg straight back. Before we kind of take this into the twist, let's get a little more open through that right hip. So pull the right hip back. Drop that block lower. Little bend to that right knee. And then we'll bring that left foot around. So we're meeting that left foot to the outside of our right foot. Bend deeper into your right knee. Keep your right hand on the block. Left hand pops up to the left hip and kind of pull it back a little bit or push it back as you open your heart to the left. You can stay or maybe float the arm. As you exhale, left hand returns. Take that block up higher. I'll make it a little easier, I think, this time. Little bend to that front knee, and then float that left leg straight back. And then release the left foot to the earth. Pedal it out a couple times in your forward fold. And then you can set the block aside. With your inhale, rise to stand. With your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant your hands and step back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, we're going to take that right leg, float it straight up and back, keeping that right hip turned down a little bit. Fan out the right toes, hands, big breath in, exhale, knee to nose, let your weight shift forward, and then step the right foot through. Back heel's going to dial down, we're coming up for a warrior two pose. So settle the shoulders down your back, we're dropping into that right knee. Gaze is just beyond those front fingertips. So let's turn the palms up and bend the elbows a little bit. Take those elbows in towards your ribs and lift your heart. Keep those elbows, keep those arms kind of pressing back and heart open, and then just unbend the elbows, straighten the arms. So take those fingertips towards the mat, open your heart even more. Turn your palms away from you. Keep that open heart, pull the belly in a little bit, but then float the arms back up to warrior two. We're going to wrap that left arm underneath the right, so you're coming elbow to elbow, and then bring the backs of your hands to touch. Lift the elbows, any amount more, feel the left ribs sort of pull forward just a little bit, just enough so you feel a little stretch through your left hip flexor. So the backs of your hands touch. We're going to lift those elbows and just take a little tiny lean back. Lean back and look up. Exhale, release, extend both arms. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Both hands to the mat and step back to down dog. Inhale, left leg floats high. Again, anchor that left hip a little bit. Fan out the toes and press the hands into the mat. Press both hips back. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Shift the weight forward and then step through. Back heel turns down. Virabhadrasana 2. Fingers reaching away from one another. Shoulders softening away from the ears. Trying to connect a little bit more with our core. So hugging the ribs in a little bit. Maybe feeling the meaty part of that right thigh press back a little bit. And then we'll turn the palms up, bend the elbows in towards the ribs, lift the heart a little bit. See if you can take the whole head of your arm bones and press them back in space without popping the ribs forward too much. And then we'll straighten the arms and just take those fingertips like we're pointing them to the ground, to our feet. And then turn the palms away, keep sending those arms back behind you. And then keep all that, but float the arms back up to warrior 2. We'll take that right arm, we're going to wrap it underneath the left. Elbow to elbow, back of hands touch. So lift those elbows a little bit, really press those hands into one another, and then again, little lean back. Inhale, come on up, straighten out, warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale, release. Hands to the mat, step back, down dog. Couple breaths here. If you want to pedal it out, pedal it out. So let's just take a break for a moment. So come down to your knees in child's pose. Or maybe just an easy seat on your heels, whichever feels better for you. Let's just get off our arms, get off our wrists, get off our shoulders for a few breaths. So maybe close your eyes in whatever resting pose you're in right now. After the next breath or two, when you feel ready, make your way back into your downward facing dog. So just working a little bit more with the flow and with a balance here. We're going to move through a little flow here to hopefully get our legs all ready for our eagle pose. So from down dog, float your right leg. Big breath in, exhale, step through. Come up to fingertips to give yourself some space. And then the left foot's just going to hop forward a little bit to shorten your stance. Both feet are grounded. Rise to stand, hands on hips. We'll move through this a couple times. The second time will be a little quicker. So really feel that right foot grounded. Shift your weight so you can balance on your right leg, bringing your left knee forward. Take your time. We're going to settle, start to bend into that right knee, and we're going to settle into our one-legged chair. So hopefully stretching, if we can, stretch any more into that outer hip, outer glute. So settling in, hands can stay on hips. Left foot is flexed, left toes are spread. we're going to keep our balance, but we're going to bring our left knee all the way over to cross on our right knee. So our eagle legs here with those left toes floating. Just going to get a taste of it. Maybe sit a little lower. It's totally fine if you're wobbling, especially like me if you're on carpet and a mat. When you're ready, come back to stand, bring your left knee with you, and then we're going to kick that left leg straight back. Take your time. All the way back into a nice deep lunge. For a moment, float your arms up. Open your arms wide, lift your heart, and then exhale, hands to the mat. We're going to step that right foot back, bend the knee, twist and open. Big breath in. Exhale, take your right knee down and across to your left elbow. Touch it if you can. Inhale, send it back. Good, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg floats. Exhale, step through. Lift the fingertips and then bring your right foot forward a little bit, shorten your stance. Hands to hips, rise to stand, both feet anchored. Let the weight shift a little bit to that left foot. Bring your right knee forward. Float the right foot. Little bend to the left knee, right leg crosses. Figure 4, one-legged chair. Hands stay on hips as you kind of settle down. Letting the right knee descend. Maybe pressing sit bones wide and back. And we're going to start to bring that right knee all the way over, getting our eagle legs. So the right toes just sort of float off the ground and maybe just sit a little lower. Inhale, lift, rise, float the right leg, and then we'll kick it back. Take your time, step it all the way back. Come on up, arms sweep. Open up the arms. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left leg sweeps back, bend, twist, and open. Big breath in. Exhale, left knee comes down and across to your right arm. Inhale, send it back. Downward facing dog. Good, so let's stay in down dog for 2 or 3 breaths. If you'd rather stay in child's pose for 2 or 3 breaths, transition now. When you're ready, back to down dog if you're not there already waiting for us. Inhale, right leg floats. Exhale, step through. Bring that left foot forward a bit, rise to stand, hands on hips. Feel your right foot really anchored. Bring your left knee forward. Settle into one-legged chair. Bring that left knee to cross all the way over, eagle legs. Inhale, rise. Float the knee, and then send that leg back. Land the toes, and when you're ready, sweep the arms. Open the arms. Release your hands. Right leg floats back. Bend, twist, and open. Big breath in. Exhale, down and across to left arm. Inhale, straight up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg floats. Exhale, step through. Shorten your stance, hands to hips, rise to stand. Let the weight shift into that left foot. Right leg floats forward. One-legged chair. Push those sit bones back. Cross the knee over, eagle legs, sit a little lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, step back. Land those toes, sweep those arms. Open your arms. Release your hands. Left foot floats back. Bend, twist, and open. Big breath in. Exhale, cross that left knee. Right arm. Inhale, send it back. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. or drop to your child's pose for 3 breaths. All right, downward facing dog. Last time through, a little quicker this time. Inhale, right leg floats. Exhale, step. Shorten your stance, rise to stand. Bring your left foot forward. One-legged chair. Just sit for a beat and then cross that knee all the way over. Sit for another beat and then back to stand. Kick that leg back. Crescent pose. Open your arms. Release your hands. Right foot floats. Bend your knee. Open it up. Big breath in. Exhale, right knee down and across. Inhale, send it back. Downward facing dog. Left leg floats. Step through. Shorten your stance. Rise to stand. Right leg floats. One-legged chair. Just sit. And then cross the knee all the way over. Sit. Rise to stand. Send it back. Crescent pose. Open your arms. Release your hands. Left leg floats. Then twist and open. Big breath in. Exhale. Left knee, right arm. Inhale, send it. Left foot releases. Child's pose. Spend some time here reconnecting with your breath, coming back to a nice, easy, purposeful breath flow. Child's pose. Let your weight shift forward to hands and knees. And let's come into our pigeon pose. So you can come into it from hands and knees like I am, but if you know pigeon and you like pigeon to come from down dog, transition back to down dog. We'll start with the right leg. So the right knee moves forward towards the right thumb, and then we'll bring that right foot forward, 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 any amount, towards our left wrist. So we're going to keep our hips square instead of falling off on that right hip. Keep our hips square, so maybe pull the right hip back in space. The left hip will draw forward in space as we reach those left toes back and lengthen our left leg. So if you have enough space here under that right hip, instead of holding yourself up, place a block under that right hip so you don't have to hold yourself up. Take a breath in. Open your heart, and then as you exhale, soften yourself down towards the mat. Walk your arms forward, release your forehead to the mat. Let's spend 3 full breaths here. We've done a lot of hip openers tonight so far, or a decent amount, so hopefully we don't need pigeon to open us up too much. Just a way to settle the practice a little bit. So when you're ready, start to walk yourself back in. Lift your heart, lift your head, wiggle that right leg back to either hands and knees, or you can transition back to your down dog if you prefer. We'll take pigeon on the left side, so either from hands and knees or down dog, bring that left knee towards the left thumb. And again, we'll walk that left foot towards our right wrist, and then maybe wiggle that right leg back so you can feel both hips settle towards the earth. Again, we don't want to be falling off and letting those right toes kick out. Keep your hips squared, and again, if you have that space under your left hip, place your block or a rolled blanket or a pillow or whatever you have handy. Any amount, maybe wiggle that right leg back a little bit. You can keep your toes curled under like I do, or you can uncurl your toes. With the breath in, open your heart. And then with an exhale, settle down. Again, 3 full rounds of breath once you settle in. After that third breath, begin to make your way out. Walk yourself back upright. Slip that knee behind you. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. Pedal it out once or twice. And then make your way into your forward fold. Make sure your block is handy. Bring that block to the outside of your left foot at its lowest height. With an inhale, rise to stand. And then with an exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Good. So moving towards our Garandasana eagle pose. So start with hands on hips, feet both planted, little bend to the knees. So we're going to roll off our right heel just to our right tippy toes and just sort of feel that out. Then when you're ready, float that right foot like we were before, and then cross that right knee over. So we're knee to knee. Toes can either float, they can touch that block you now have handy, or if you're really going for it, you might want to wrap your toes around the back of your left leg. We'll bring that left arm up in front of us, wrap the right arm underneath. This time maybe bring your hand, the front of your hands or the palms of your hands together. Backs of hands are fine too. Float those elbows up. Settle in. So find somewhere soft with a soft gaze, something to look at. Soften your face, soften your eyes. Feel your breath. Unwind the arms, open your heart. Unwind the legs, float the knee, and then release. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Reach up, look up. Feel your feet anchor into the earth as your fingertips reach up. And then exhale, just release your hands to your sides. Keep your eyes closed. Soften your face. Feel both feet on the earth. Go ahead and open your eyes. We'll take that block and move it to the other side. In case you want it there, start with hands on hips. Feel that right foot really grounded into the earth and then roll off your left heel. Bend the knees a little bit. Lift the left leg and then cross the left knee on top of the right knee. Either float your toes, touch your toes to your prop, or wrap your toes around the back of your right leg. Send your right arm forward. We're going to wrap the left arm underneath. And again, either palms together or the backs of the hands together, but float the elbows higher if you can. Take that drishti. That soft gaze. Settle in. Finding that focus, that eagle focus. Still, steady, focused. The breath comes and goes. Unwind the arms. Float that left leg. Release your foot. Both feet on the earth. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, release your arms at your sides. Close your eyes. Again, feel both feet nice and grounded. Come back to a nice easy breath. Open your eyes. Let's bend a little at the knees. Keep that block handy, but come all the way to your sit bones. Legs are wide. Toes point up. Take that block or that book in front of you. Start nice and tall through the spine. Inhale and exhale. Inhale again. And then as you exhale, hinge at the hips and walk yourself forward a little bit. So stay for a breath or two. And then maybe settle a little deeper. Maybe the forehead can touch your block. Rest on your block. Stay for a breath or two. Maybe your block can lower, bringing you a little closer to the earth. If there's one more place you want to go, spend these last few breaths in that last space. If you want to stay where you are, stay where you are. As you inhale, make your way back up nice and easy. So we're going to come to our legs up the wall pose for our last few minutes for our Shavasana. If you don't really have a wall space to use, that's fine. You don't have to do that. You can just come into your normal Shavasana, final resting pose on your back, on your mat. But if you're able to use a wall, I would also recommend using your block or your book, whatever you have. Get yourself nice and close with one hip to that wall. Lay back and swing those legs up the wall. So probably be at least a few inches away from the wall. Knees are a little soft. Feet kind of float nice and easy on the wall. So your heels are touching the wall. And if you want to use your block, press into your feet, lift your hips, slip that block under your sacrum, and then come back onto that block. So you're not holding your weight up, you're softening onto that block. And then once again, extend the legs long. So let your arms be wide. Turn your palms up. Close your eyes. Just start to find a nice easy breath pattern. Letting go of the feeling of efforting. Every breath maybe softening a little bit more. So with your next few breaths, start to transition out of this final pose. So maybe if you're on the wall, walk your feet down the wall, press into the feet, lift your hips and remove the block. We'll all meet on one side to rest for just another breath or two longer. Pressing your hands into the earth, begin to transition to your easy seat, legs gently crossed in front. Resting hands in your lap, eyes stay softly closed. Drawing hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center. Bow your head to your heart. Notice that light that resides naturally within you. With all your love and all your gratitude, send that light out to all those in your life who love and support you. Feeling truly grateful to be able to still sit in the seat of teacher, even with the studio closed. Thank you all for practicing. Have an awesome weekend, an awesome Friday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hoping to see everyone soon.